I didn't know what was making that sound. At first, I thought it was just the wind, but then I heard it again, a tiny, desperate cry coming from the ground. I got closer, and that's when I realized there was a kitten trapped deep inside a sewer. I couldn't see him, but I could feel his fear. He was all alone in the dark, soaking wet, starving, and slowly fading away. No one knew he was there, and if I hadn't heard him that day, he would have died in silence. What would you do if a stray kitten fell into a sewer and stayed there for days, all alone? A tiny stray kitten fell into a sewer pit next to an apartment building, and no one saw it happen. He was trapped down there for days, soaking wet, cold, starving, and completely helpless. No food, no water, just darkness and the horrible stench of sewage all around him. He waited, hoping someone would hear him, and finally, he cried out with all the strength he had left. His tiny meows echoed from deep below the street, and someone heard. Getting him out wasn't easy. We called the Istanbul Fire Department for help, and soon a team of firefighters arrived. They brought special tools to lift the heavy sewer lid, but the moment it was opened, the kitten got scared and ran deeper into the hole. He was terrified of people, too weak to trust anyone. The firefighters gently spoke to him, trying to calm him down. Neighbors started gathering, hoping they could help too, but the kitten had no intention of coming out. Then, one firefighter carefully lowered a long net into the sewer. We waited in silence, praying, and after a few tense moments, the kitten stepped inside the net. He was finally safe. When we pulled him out, the smell was overwhelming. He was soaked in sewage, shivering, and barely able to move. I placed him on the ground to see if he could walk, but he was too exhausted. He might have an infection, maybe even a fever. I knew he wasn't out of danger yet. I had to prepare for the worst, just in case. First, I gave him a warm bath with shampoo to clean him and raise his body temperature. He seemed to enjoy the warm water, relaxing a little as I lathered him up. But his body was covered in fleas, so I washed him thoroughly, quickly but gently. After the bath, I dried him with a towel, then used a hairdryer to make sure he didn't catch a cold. He looked so handsome and fresh after being cleaned up, but I knew we still had a long road ahead. The next few days would be critical. He might have a high fever or a serious infection. So I gave him clean water first to rehydrate him. He had been without water for days. He drank a lot, clearly very thirsty. Then I gave him an antibiotic to fight potential infections. And because fleas can cause anemia, I also gave him iron syrup. But please note, antibiotics and iron syrup should not be given together. Wait a few hours between them. The kitten didn't like the taste of the syrup, but he had no choice. Although I removed some fleas during the bath, he still needed proper treatment, so I applied a flea drop to his skin. This will stop the itching and prevent further blood loss. Next, I gave him wet kitten food. All of this food and medicine is provided thanks to amazing people who support this channel. Even if you can't donate, watching the video to the end helps me earn more ad revenue, which means I can rescue and care for even more stray cats. It looked like this was the first time the kitten had ever eaten wet food. He absolutely loved it. The fact that he has an appetite is a good sign, but if he stops eating, I'll have to feed him with a syringe. or even give him IV fluids. Unfortunately, the kitten has diarrhea and is passing parasites. I gave him deworming tablets to clean his stomach and intestines. Right now, gaining weight will be difficult, but after he ate, I held him gently in my arms. He looked tired, but not in immediate danger. Still, things could change in the coming hours. If your cat has diarrhea, try giving dry food. If they refuse it, boil some potatoes and chicken, mash them with rice, and feed it to your cat. It often helps reduce diarrhea naturally. After he ate, I placed him in a carrier to rest and sleep. The next day I gave him a small piece of cheese. It might have been the first time he ever tasted it, and he loved it. Then I gave him his medication again. First the antibiotic, then after a few hours, the iron syrup. As I held him in my arms, I noticed something. He no longer smelled like a sewer. He now smelled fresh, like shampoo. While I was holding him, another cat, a blind kitten I rescued earlier, came to the door and started meowing. I keep them separate for safety, especially during treatment. You can watch the story of the blind kitten by clicking the link below. And if you subscribe and watch until the end, you'll help me rescue even more stray animals in need.